Okay, let's go. Holy
Holy dude.
well,
Oh my God.
What's going on, YouTube? So over the weekend, I got to take out a Tesla Model X and Model S P100D and play around with them a little bit. I filmed a lot of video and commentary of the cars, but apparently I didn't have my audio recorder set up correctly, and most of the footage I shot is kind of useless. Either way, I've still got some launch videos I want to show you guys of the cars doing 0 to 60 runs. It was a really interesting experience, so I want to tell you all about the cars and what I thought about them, which I'm going to do right after this. There's a couple of different things I want to talk about: the interior, the quality, the autopilot system, how that stacks up to Mercedes and Porsche's system. But I know a lot of you guys are more interested in the 0 to 60 times, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way first. The P100D literally gave me tunnel vision and a feeling of vertigo. I compare that car more to a roller coaster than an actual car. I've driven the P90D before, and while that thing's fast, it didn't give me the woozy feeling that the P100 did.
oh my God.
Hold on.
That was 60. That was 60, that fast.
iMovie doesn't have a stopwatch feature, but if you time that, that's about 3 seconds to 60. Now that is a little bit slower than the claimed 2.3 seconds 0 to 60, but we had 3 people in the car and we were on kind of a slight incline. Regardless, it's the fastest thing I've ever been in. What's funny about it, the street we launched it on, if you notice, had a bunch of cars parked on either side of it. Now, I'd never launched my 911 on a street like that. Even though the car has excellent traction, I'd still be afraid the car would think it's a Mustang for a minute and get away from me. The Tesla, on the other hand, is completely different. There's no wheel spin, there's no fuss, the car just goes. And it feels incredibly stable while it's doing it. You hear some people talking about how some cars feel like you're driving a video game. Well, this is the prime example of it. Now, I have respect for the Tesla representative's wishes. I didn't get any footage of us testing out the autopilot features, but that doesn't stop me from telling you about it. I was really hoping the new 8-camera system would have been available for us to check out. But the rep said it wasn't ready yet, so we had to test out the old system with just 1 camera. I could tell you right away that I knew that this system was more advanced than the ones offered from Porsche and Mercedes. The lane assist in the Porsche is not too bad. It tends to hug one of the lines. The Mercedes system keeps you between the lines, but it's kind of like throwing a ping pong down a hallway. It just bounces back and forth between them. The Tesla system, on the other hand, keeps you dead center in the lane. It switches lanes for you. And I was really impressed that it not only detects the car in front of you, but it detects the car in front of that car as well via its radar systems. The best way I can describe the Tesla system is confidence inspiring. In the Mercedes, you always have to keep an eye on it. In the Tesla, I felt like I could just let it go and it would do everything itself, which is kind of a scary thought on its own, isn't it? Now, I've tested the Model S before, and I remember being very disappointed in the interior quality. With the Model X and the Model S that I tested this weekend, Tesla has definitely stepped up their game. They're not quite up to the level of some of the luxury cars like Mercedes yet, but they've made some steps in the right direction. The materials feel nice, they look a lot better, but I did notice that some of the panels don't fit together just perfectly, and there were some issues in the back where the carpet was coming unglued from the floor. But overall, I think they're definitely moving in the right direction. There's a ton of videos out there talking about the infotainment centers and the big screens in the Teslas, so I'm not really going to go into much detail on these. What I will say is that's the best system I've ever seen, and I wish every manufacturer would put that system in their cars. So the ride of the car was nice. It didn't stick out as being great or bad. It drove well. It was planted to the ground. It handled curves well. The steering was a lot sharper than what I anticipated. I guess I kind of expected more of a Mercedes kind of slow, comfortable steering. Not so much in the Tesla. That thing was sharp. And having all the weight really low to the car made it hug the turns. I was pretty impressed with how it drove. It's definitely a car that I could live with every day. The Model X feels like a bigger, heavier Model S. It looks very similar inside. It handles the same, it feels the same. It's the same car. The model we tested was a P90D, so it was pretty quick. It wasn't quite as fast as the 100D, but it was no slouch though. Besides the size, the biggest difference between the Model X and the Model S is probably the the big falcon wing doors, and the large panoramic windshield. I thought the windshield was pretty nice. They've tinted it on top so the sun glare is not bad when it comes through it, and it gives a really open feeling to the car. The falcon door definitely makes getting in and out of the car a whole lot easier, especially when you're in a tight spot. Although if somebody parks really close, you just hit a little button on the remote, car just backs up for you so you got enough space to get in. I could see these doors being very useful in the real world, but I'm not a huge fan of the way they look. Speaking of looks, I just can't get behind the styling of these refreshed cars. Overall, I think the Teslas are an attractive car, but that front end looks like somebody just put a piece of tape right over their mouth. I know it functionally doesn't need a grille, but I think it's missing out on being a traditionally beautiful car without it. One day, I will own a Tesla. I think that they're fascinating and that they're the future of the automotive industry. But I think they're a little bit overpriced for what they are. The interior quality just isn't up to par for the price. And a nicely optioned P100D is going to run you about the same as a 911 Turbo. And I just can't see myself taking a Tesla over a 911. I'm probably going to make a video looking into the depreciation values and how these cars stack up on the pre-owned market. So stay tuned for that. I really look forward to seeing what Tesla can do in the future with these cars' biggest drawback: the charging system. I know 80% battery in 30 minutes is pretty good at a supercharger, but it's still one of the biggest limitations of the car. Once they figure out how to fully charge one of these things in the same amount of time it takes a gas-powered car to fuel up, that's going to be the game changer. That'll have everybody interested in these cars. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content in the future. And until next time, thanks guys.